Good morning. Happy Tuesday morning. It is a fine Tuesday here in April. Again, I'm not prepared to tell you what actual date is. It is April 14th, 11 a.m. I overslept by about 2.5 hours because my sleep schedule is off because of the doctor's appointment thing I did. I had a physical yesterday, and it's no big deal. It's like a once a year thing. God, that's good coffee. It's a once a year thing. You do it once every year, and they just make sure you haven't developed any new horns or growths or extra arms or anything. And but I don't drive anymore. I don't really. Me and driving aren't friends. I like the concept of driving. I don't like the execution because I don't really have the nerves for it anymore. And I know it's a strange thing to say, but as a video gamer, I have good reflexes. But when it comes to real world stuff like that, it's just different. I've been in enough car wrecks in my life that it got to the point to where I sold my car after I got married. We had my wife's car, and my car was breaking down anyway, so we got rid of my car. And then you just kind of, I never drove much, except if she needed me to drive. So every once in a while, in an emergency pinch, I'll drive her car. But I don't really drive day to day. It's just not my thing anymore. I'd rather have like a bicycle or one of those things you stand on, zip around on, and look like a complete dork. Segway. I'd do a Segway because you can do those on sidewalks. You don't have to deal with other cars. Drivers here in Houston are freaking crazy, and as any Houstonian will probably attest, it's bonkers. And to make matters worse, we have conceal and carry laws. So any of them could be carrying pistols. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Yeah, I had a doctor's appointment yesterday. Just standard routine stuff, but so my wife could get to work on time, at a reasonable time. We did it at 8 a.m., which meant I had to wake up. And you have to get to the doctor's office a little early. So I had to wake up a couple of hours before I usually do. Plus, it was a fasting thing where you weren't allowed to eat like 10 hours before. So I was really out of whack. So my sleep schedule's out of whack. So it's 11. I just woke up. I just made some coffee. I wish the symbol was on both sides. STW. I have this shirt, which is probably green screening all the heck. Yeah. It is. Let me see if I can. Woo! Third Coast. Third Coast Graphics. They make a lot of shirts for the company my wife works for. So, we get a whole bunch of free samples and stuff. How are you doing? Yesterday, Monday, the last episode of Alan Wake aired. That series is now over. That is the second series on the second channel that we've actually finished. The first one was Red Faction Armageddon. So I'm looking to start something up. Now, when I did the vote on what was going to take Red Faction Armageddon's place, BioShock Infinite came in first, but Dead Space was a close second. However, I'm not sure I want to do another shooter. I have the kind of the RPG action. I have the kind of the RPG with Dragon Age Origins going on. I have the action and shooter in BioShock Infinite. I'm thinking of something different. I'm thinking of maybe either Dust and Elysian Tale, which is kind of a side-scrolling platformer. That's kind of jumping and, action and RPG elements. I'm thinking of, oh gosh, what else? I have City Skylines, but I'm not sure how interested you guys would be in me doing a playthrough of City Skylines. We're just poking at it. I've considered modded City Skylines. I think that could be cool. But yeah. I think I need to find something slightly different. I wonder if I can. Let's open up Steam. I'm going to put Steam over there. Oh gosh, I've considered Bastion. Bastion would be a isometric shooter. It's got a really good storyline to it. That's a different style of game. There's City Skylines. There's Dust and Elysian Tale. That's a really gorgeous game. I've considered Elite Dangerous, but I'm not even sure how good I'm going to be at that game. So that's kind of dicey. Oh gosh. Terraria has got a ton of updates. I have been kind of philosophically opposed to Terraria for a long time. The devs for Terraria came out at one point and said, and this was, I think, 2 years ago, we are finishing Terraria. We're not going to put out any more updates because we want to move on to a new game that is based in space that is more expansive. And we want to do this so we can start selling a new game while Terraria is still selling so we can earn more money for the company. They literally said something along those lines. They said they were literally doing it for earnings purposes. And because Terraria was stuck at a low price point, and if they released a new game, they could release it at a higher price point, and it would stay that way. They couldn't justifiably raise the price point on Terraria. That rubbed me the wrong way, and I really didn't like that. So for a while, I steered clear of Terraria, and then Starbound came out by Chucklefish. I thought Chucklefish was a new company that was made by some of the devs of the original company that made Terraria. I thought they moved on to some new name to kind of, subterfuge and whatever. No, it turns out it's a totally different company, and they have nothing to do with Terraria. Starbound is its own thing. So I had a grudge against Starbound when it first came out for no good reason. I have been contacted by Chucklefish. They're offering me a copy of Starbound if I want to do coverage of it. So that is something I could do. If you guys are interested in Starbound, I know it's not exactly cutting edge, but I've never really been a cutting edge kind of dude. You'll notice I have a series slot opening on the same week that GTA 5 opened up, and I'm not doing coverage of it, specifically because, A, it's $60, okay? I paid $60, well, I paid $50 for Elite Dangerous, and that was a really hard choice. It was a really hard choice. Most times, I will never pay full retail for a game unless, here's my weakness, this is my kryptonite. Kryptonite. This is my kryptonite, man. It's my kryptonite if it's an MMORPG. I don't know why. I mean, basically, I sunk $70 into Skyforge, and it's not even out yet. And that's going to be free to play. I don't know why, but as soon as the word MMORPG comes in and they've got even a couple of compelling features, all of my common sense decision-making centers in my brain turn off, and I become a blind fool that just starts throwing money at the monitor, asking, hey, when can I get my game? And I stop making good decisions, it seems like. I do think Skyforge was the right choice. I think long-term that's going to be a fun game to play because there's going to be no fees to maintain it like Guild Wars 2. I still play Guild Wars 2. I would love to find people that still play Guild Wars 2 so we could team up. I can't remember if it was Ferg or Lobster Embodiment. Somebody else I know bought it recently to get into it, but then I stopped seeing them log in. It was like 1 week they got bored. I'm sorry, I have a cold this morning. So there's going to be some... Anyway. So yeah, I have a new slot opening up on the second channel. We've already got Bioshock Infinite and Dragon Age Origins. I'm very pleased with those. Because while Dragon Age Origins is kind of action-y, it is still very much a stop and think tactical kind of a game. And it's very heavy in the RPG elements. So it puts it in a different category than Bioshock Infinite. And I like having that diversity. I could run Dead Space, but it's going to be another action shooter with a heavy storyline. So I might save Dead Space and run it after Bioshock Infinite finishes. I think that's going to be a good choice. So in the slot that I have opening, I'm thinking Elite Dangerous. That's going to be a space flight sim. That's as different from the other two as it gets. Or I could do Starbound. Side-scrolling kind of buildery sandbox game. I might put up a poll. This time I'm just going to have, I think, two options. I'm thinking either Elite Dangerous or actually three options, or Bastion. I'm thinking about either Bastion, Starbound, or Yeah, really dangerous. I think that could be really, really good. Um, I think when Dragon Age Origins finishes, I'm going to do Dust and Legion Tale after it. And then when that finishes, I can do Grim Fandango. And I have a lot of stuff I can play on this channel. I just, you want to get it all and start it and throw it up at once, and you end up having 19 different series going, and it all goes horribly, horribly wrong. I have to pace myself out. I have to restrict myself. 3 games, and then occasional specials, one-offs. So yeah. There was one point early last week or week before where I commented about Skyforge, circling back around to Skyforge. I was going to do a series of videos showing off each class. I have not done that yet, specifically because as soon as I put that video out, Closed Beta 2 ended. So I can't get back in yet. I don't know when Closed Beta 3 is going to open up, and that's going to have a whole bunch more features and new classes and new bug fixes. So the minute that Closed Beta 3 opens up, if they haven't wiped my character progress, I'll still be able to go into the training center and show all the classes to you guys one by one by one. This is 11 minutes long. It's already gone on about 9 minutes longer than I thought it would. Before I forget, I would like to get some feedback from everybody regarding resolution. I made a big effort to make sure that I could go to 1080p. But what I'm discovering is that 1080p might not be all it's cracked up to be. Maybe I need to stick to 720p for one thing. 1080p lengthens my render times. That's one thing. So it takes longer for videos to render for my software. Problem number 2. I thought I was going to be able to get some capture hardware that can handle 1080p at 60 FPS. I might get an AverMedia internal card still. It's PCI Express. I think that can handle the bandwidth, but it's still the factor of that is going to... I'm already doing 1080p 30 FPS, and my videos are taking an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours to render. It's going to jump it up to 2.5 plus. Maybe I should just stick to 720p 60 FPS. So I'm thinking. I don't know. It's a dicey thing, It's one of those... I'm trying to find a balance. A lot of people are like, 60 FPS is more important, or 1080p is more important. But really, I think 60 FPS is more important than 1080p, because I think 60 FPS... I think going from 720p 30 to 720p 60 frames per second takes less bandwidth than going from 720p 30 frames per second to 1080p 30 frames per second. I think that's a bigger jump in data, and I think there's, in America at least right now, I think there's fewer people that can actually handle that data bottleneck. I don't think a lot of people watch videos in 1080p. I really don't. I mean, technically you can upload 4K videos to YouTube, but I don't think that's a huge market, because I don't think people have the bandwidth for it. So I'm kind of curious what you guys think, What resolution do you standardly watch in? Are you watching in 480p? Are you watching in 720p? Do you watch on cell phones predominantly, so it's like somewhere in between? I'm curious, I mean, my iPhone can handle 1080p on screen, but none of the actual software that lets you stream video will let you stream in 1080p. The YouTube video is locked at 720p. The YouTube software. If you go to YouTube in the browser, even if you use Chrome, not just Safari, built onto the iPhone, it's locked at 720p. You cannot pick 1080p. Not an option. So yeah. If I can dial back down to 720p and just do 60 FPS that way, then I might be able to increase a lot of efficiency in certain fronts, and I think that might be a good thing. I don't know, though. I want to hear from you guys, How important is it? How critical is it? Are you more worried about how pretty it looks and not what resolution it's in, or the smoothness of it, or, crispness? Or is it more important to you that you can watch it on a mobile device or a desktop? Which is more important to you? I want to hear. Let me know. Keep your eyes open for a post on the website, Vaygrim.com, probably later today. It might be up by the time this video posts. If it is, I'll try and remember, but I'll forget to put a link in the description. Keep your eyes open for a poll on the website in regards to Bastion, Elite Dangerous, or Starbound. I'll be curious to get an opinion on that. Let me know. I will talk to you guys later. Have a great Tuesday. Try and stay positive. Remember, there's somebody out there that cares for you. Bye-bye.